Welcome back to Idiom Studios. We're just about to start testing on the final products test of our canvas. We've changed things slightly since the last test that we did, in so much that what we've done is we've applied 150 GSM 100% cotton canvas over the frame. The frame is a 4x450 where we have rebaited 5mm in to give us the overhanging depth, and then we've beveled the side to allow the corners and the canvas to stretch onto that wood. All canvases are built at 450 by 600. This is probably what's inspired, in so much that we want that ability to apply wet paint quickly over a very short period of time, and we believe that this actually does that job, and it does it very well. We've been able to do several of these. This is a recent painting that was actually refurbished after it had been painted on, and we've now used this canvas 4 times. The canvas gives you a really good hold onto the paint and continues to use. At the moment we've got 5 out of it, and we'll see how far that goes, and hopefully we'll be able to give a report on what that actually will be in the end. So that means how many times can I repurpose, as in clean this canvas, put a primer and start my painting off again. We believe this is an excellent little canvas in terms of students or for beginners or for professionals. The range is quite open. The cost that we're aiming for is roughly, for a cost of operation, to come in around about £10 per product, and to date we're hitting that mark. Let's carry on. What I've done is I've taken a grey prime canvas, covered it with liquid clear, the Bob Ross liquid clear. Very different to the liquid white, in so much that you don't need as much, and it's quite slippy when you're using that. With that, I think we should just crack on. Let's start by running through the colours. What I've got on my board is some titanium white, phthalo green, phthalo blue, Elysian crimson, some transparent black, Van Dyke brown, and some sap green. These are all colours that I think I'll use at the moment, but we'll see how we get on. So with that in mind, let's crack on. We'll take some white, tap it onto the brush, and just simply slightly different. It picks up the grey. You put in a direct colour as opposed to a liquid white or a liquid black. And I just want to put this in so I can add some colour and use this as a cloud formation later on. You can already see that grey canvas giving me those shadows that I need. And just letting it blend in and slowly run away as I come down the canvas. Okay, going to go straight into mix up, sorry I should say. I'm going to just pull some Elysian crimson into there, a little bit of blue. What I'm looking for is a kind of a purple colour. That needs a little bit more Elysian crimson. You probably can see that my palette's very short today in terms of colours. Okay. Today I think I'm going to use my crown brush. I'll load that up, load it up with colour that I've just created. And lots of colour on this. And then just using the corner of the brush, keep moving it. Some more of that. How you doing?
Yeah, put this through there for you.
Thanks, fella. Never know how this is going to come out, but hey ho. I'm doing really pressing into that canvas. And I'll take my 1-inch brush and just gently work these clouds in. Now, if you're interested in what I'm doing, I'm just no more than a baby's breath and gently just turning those clouds in. And then I'm going to blend into the white that's underneath. Kind of stay away from the tops. Sometimes that doesn't always come to light. You see that the white's pulling into that. Now if you're doing this on a dry board, this would be really difficult to do, moving those colours around, but because we've got this liquid clear, it allows me to move the paint around as I want to. You can already see that starting to work together. Just going to quickly remove any of that dark colour. Now I'm just going to fluff these clouds up once I've dried my brush. You need a dry brush for this when you've only got one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fluff up those clouds a little bit. Isn't that pretty? Everything starts to push back, come forward. I'm using my blender brush, just going to gently give that say no more than a baby's breath. Already, nice little pretty sky. Canvas is working well, it's taking the colours. I'm having no problems with the paint itself. So I'm really happy at this moment in time with that effect. Just needs a little bit of work here. There we go. I know when I started this and you were watching, you're thinking, what the hell are you doing, Wayne? But already, pretty little sky. I think seeing as though I've got some of this, I'm going to do is just put some, maybe some little floaters here. Just to use up that purple that I've collected. Here I'm really pushing into that canvas. And if you're doing this at home, don't worry. If you've got a good canvas, should take these little pressure points that we're putting in. Let's face it, you can build tents with them and all sorts, so try and keep those lines straight. And if, like I say, if you're doing this at home, don't worry too much. You can literally move this or move the paint around as you like. And all I'm doing is taking a very small amount, as you can see on the top, pushing that in. What I want to try and create here is just almost a vision that the moon's sat there behind this little spot here. Oops, a little bit of a faux pas there. I can still call that, sort it out. Once again, using this blender, just going to blend that back ever so slightly. Okay. What I do is I wash this off with a odourless paint thinner. Probably the thing that takes most of the time is I'm going to just add a, may seem bizarre, some black there. Just a simple amount of black, very small amount. I just want to touch in ever so slightly. Once again, this time, sweep these up a bit. Not too worried that that black's come over, I can soon move that out of the way. Let me show you. All we do is blend that out. Completely goes. Now, let's see. Maybe that needs to be a little straighter. Some horizon. Maybe just. Maybe just there. That's the one. I'm hardly touching this canvas, hardly touching it. Okay, just going to clean up my fan brush now. I think now we've put the sky in, I kind of like the thought maybe just doing maybe a water scene. So to take my 1-inch brush. I'm going to take some blue, just very gently onto here, starting on the outside, and I'm going to come in. It may seem quite dark. It's important, if you're doing this at home, stay in straight lines. The angle of the brush, the strokes, can all be seen through your picture. Some more of that. Now this is, as I mentioned, a test canvas. And really it's the canvas and not the frame that I'm testing today. And you can see that little catch there. It means we've got to take that rebate of the 5mm maybe slightly further down. By doing it with these simple taps and letting the brush run out of paint in effect, you can create this depth in your seam motion and the way the babies move, and you can already possibly see the lines there. You always get the different shades, darker and lighter. I'm going to touch into a little bit of phthalo green, very bright green, but beautiful when you're bringing it into the sea. Absolutely. You see that? I just love that colour when it goes in. And what I'm doing is I'm going to go back up to go into that blue. I don't need much more. I'm going to try and work this through now, down further down, bringing it down. Oh, lovely canvas. Canvas itself is really good, I've got to say. We were trying to use a cheaper alternative drop cloth that you use for painting, which is quite a strong, good canvas. Once we tested it though, it wasn't quite what we were looking to do, which was to be able to repurpose the canvas quite often. We're lucky to be able to repurpose this canvas up to 6 to 7 times. What I mean by that is you can get really good painting that the canvas is still doing its job. Okay, I'll leave that there for now. Now then, these colours will really pop out because we're using the liquid clear. Liquid clear, it kind of adds a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of pop to the picture. Okay, now then, that's as much as I want in there now, for now. Just cleaning my brush again. What I've got there is just a little bit of odourless paint thinners, the Bob Ross odourless paint thinners, little plastic catch that I can rub off the brush. Not using as much cleaner. By golly, it goes everywhere there. Okay, just put that down for now. I think in this sea scene there's a big rock. I'm going to take some black, I'm going to take some brown, mix them together. What dark colour now. What I want to do, using my fan brush again, just going to put in a, let's see. maybe in this picture there is an outcrop coming out. What's nice about this fan brush and the paint is that with this dark colour I can just start already deciding what this is going to be in terms of its shape, how it's going to look. Maybe it comes all the way down here. Maybe. Take a bit more of that. Now then. Maybe there's a rock formation coming out there. Maybe. I'm not sure if you can see this on the film, but here on the canvas I can see all the things I want to see, and I can almost pick out what that rock is going to look like. Put shapes in. That's the beauty of using this technique. Okay, now then. Maybe I do need to add some paint. Maybe for this we want some, just going to have a little bit of yellow ochre, not too bright. Some medium yellow, once again, not too bright. And I want some red. Where you going? I know you're in here. Well, maybe put that yellow. I obviously put that somewhere I shouldn't have done. Anyhow, so just going to go straight onto the brush and pick out some of the Indian yellow. I'm loading it straight into the brush, you can see, and I'm just going to, let's see. I'm going to go straight in, not washing my brush. What I'm doing is just putting some lines in here. It will become apparent. And so hopefully you should start to see the contours of the rock, some of the shading coming through. I'm going to continue to use yellow ochre. Now, what I'm doing is adding some little features. slide them back into the rock. I don't know where to put that bed. Well, as we haven't got bed, we have got bed, just don't know where I put it. I must have tidied it up somewhere. As this paint starts to get heavier, I'm just going to leave a little bit of that on there. Going into the Elysian Crimson. And then at this point, we should start bringing this to life. Maybe just there. Oh yeah, do like that. Okay, and finally, let's watch this. Take some white. This now, just add in. As I do this, you can see it picks up those bits of colours. Just adds a little bit of shape. Maybe. All I'm doing, just letting that drag through, let it make its mark, leave it there, and the same again. Take a 2-inch brush, I'm just going to pull that down gently. Then now then, maybe there's another little block, maybe some. Just going to add now some waves, which are really simple. Just want to capture that horizon. Maybe should have done this before, but hey ho. Now then, I'm going to go back into this dark colour again. This time I'm going to use my filbert brush. Maybe there's a rock here. Another one there, maybe. Just sitting there, doing nothing in the sand, as they say. one's just a little bit bigger. Once again, just putting that dark in there to bring it out a little bit. Maybe that big one. Yeah, why not? Maybe that's a big one. Maybe actually, maybe it just slightly covers that. Use the fan brush back to here now. Look, the paint is coming down a bit. See how that colour just, you wouldn't think that was grey underneath there, would you? Okay. People keep asking me how long have I been painting. Certainly friends, relatives. Started painting on the 14th of February. And my wife bought me a little kit, been bored, broken my leg, which had caused a clot on my lung. And while I was sat there doing nothing, not able to go out and enjoy the wildlife and outdoors and wandering in the wander, the opportunity to try and just do something a bit more less sat around watching Netflix came along, and I picked this up. This will be my 27th painting. I've done some sketches, but not quite the same. I'm going to go back to my fan brush. What I'm going to do is just make some decisions. So I think there's a nice little wave coming there, and maybe there's, tell you what, maybe there's a splash coming in, up against that, just crashing around. Coming back on itself, maybe crashing into that. trick is also not to overwork it. The sooner you overwork it, the more you overwork it, the more that'll blend away, the pattern will disappear. Continue to use the white here, and I think there's a wave. Now, can you see how that phthalo green that I put on underneath, and maybe that goes crashing into here, like so. It starts to get a little bit too thick, as it will do this. If you think there's got one layer, a second layer, a third layer, now putting a fourth layer of paint. And in order to make that work, sometimes a little bit of thinner helps. Only a little bit. Just a complete Well, maybe I've got another little line. And it's just pushing over these rocks. Just a bit. And then maybe, let's just keep this straight. And just the notion of some of that foam. Putting it in. Back to the blender again. What you do is just blend this in ever so slightly, and I'm gonna maybe just how much this? Now then. We come back here now and just beautiful now, that green and the blue, just pick it up ever so slightly. Now, I'm going to create the sense of a bigger wave. See now here? Aye. That's it. Now then. Using the filbert brush, what I'm going to do is just going to push tops of these . Maybe I Maybe I do. I want to change this. Maybe it's not quite as I wanted it to be. So, just going to I'll leave that brush as it stands. Pick up the small craft knife, the small detail knife. Maybe now it's time to just once again, I'm going to blend that in. Baby's breath, remember? Baby's breath. What are you doing now? Sea picture or water picture. It's really important to try and keep those waves straight. Especially in your picture, yeah, you kind of sometimes see the waves running that way, but if you are going to do that, you need to straight line coming back. Okay. Just a little bit of that. As I said to you earlier, this little spot here, kind of want that to be my moon shape. So what I'm going to do now is really simple. Just going to gently just put in a very small amount of white on the brush. Not much. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just needs to be something you can recognise as a bit light. Because what we're going to do now is, taking the 1-inch brush, just going to blend that gently. Just blend it gently. There we go. Look at that. Okay? And you can make that bigger if you want to, doing the same technique. But those colours you put on will just pull that across, and it will just put in a nice little effect to the moody cloud. Now then, I'm going to come back to this wave. Okay, haven't completely done this wave yet. Do take the time, these waves, they it's crashed over there. Maybe just in here there's some foamy bits. Maybe they're just dropping over. Maybe it's, maybe that's maybe a little bit of liquid, just adding a little bit. Touch of thinners. That's it. Not my best wave splash, I'm afraid. to this now. Just okay. Now then, just going to come up to the front of this block. Take my brush again. Come down. And then. Well, that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit of blue. What I want to do is just capture those bits of wave. Maybe it's coming over there. Porting over that rock. Does look a bit messy there in the corner, doesn't it? Once again, just gonna at the moment, I'm just trying to put down a light colour so I can add a darker colour on top of it if I need to. Okay. It's my liner brush. What I'm looking for is something almost ink-like in consistency. What we'll do is just very gently, very lightly, just add a little bit of blue, or the green if you want. Your painting, do what you want. Just to blend that in. Though I sound a bit Rolf Harris, can you see what it is yet? No, just putting that in there. Now then, going back to some of that dark colour we had before, just gonna to kind of indicate that rock that's underneath. Don't want to lose it. Oh dear, dickhead Wayne. Use this blue again. Not going to clean the brush, still want some of that white. There we go. There it is. Do you think it needs another rock? Okay. I'm going to give this a really good clean. I wouldn't normally use that, it's the clean, but I'm coming to the end and kind of getting to where I want to be. Now, I'm going to take some of the darker blue I'd added a bit of white to the previous blue. I'm just going to do exactly the same here now. Look at this time over the top. What it's doing is flattening that down a little bit. Some more blue, only a little bit. Just to okay, now then. Let's see. Always want to get to the end of the bottom bit. Kind of like my skies, kind of got the seas, love the water. I want to pick up just a touch, just a very small amount. So just going to mix up some more of that blue, only a little bit, that Lycian crimson, to get that purple colour that we had in the sky. So that's a Lycian crimson, phthalo blue, and you want to get it. You've probably heard mention of transparent colours. If you're not sure, this is a very dark colour when you mix it. I just grab a little bit of white. And if I mix that in, it normally tells me that I'm on the right track. So I want to go now. Using some of that. A little bit, just a touch of thinner. Just here. Just here. Only a touch. Only want to use a touch. And then take. All I'm doing is tapping this to remove that. And then only a touch. Just on the head. Just want to pick up that colour we've picked up in the sky. Just a touch. Still trying to, you see I'm just putting the brush on and then just gently pushing it down. Gently pushing it down. Maybe because this is my world, maybe it's just touching there as it turns off the blue. Very much your world, you can do what you want, I can do what I want. Probably the reason I started painting. I can do what I want. I'm not going to change the colour of the brush or wash it. Just a little bit there needed. Okay. Now then. Ooh. Go back to my filbert brush now. And I think I'll take some of this yellow, Indian yellow, dark ochre. Very small amount. And you see how I've very gently touched the bottom of there. Very gently touched it. Some more of that. I'm just mixing these on the brush. See that? Just very gently. Just catching, not much. Just going to carry on now, using my liner brush. And as with all good seas, and as with all good beaches, just going to make some little swirly bits. Just running through. Brush once again, very gently, very gently. Push that into there, very gently. Now then, just need to finish that off ever so slightly. Just underneath that little white line, a little bit of wave's got to break somewhere. A little bit of thinners. I'm just using the remnants of that blue that I've got on the palette. Once again. Don't worry too much, you can blend all of this back in. Final bit would be just to now, because we've got this ochre, need to be really careful this doesn't turn green, so I'm trying to keep fairly dark. Back to my blending brush. Blending this in. Push it in again. That's it. Kind of almost see it, but not see it. I think we're pretty much there. Just a little bit of a and that Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. Thank you very much.